You've probably heard the scripture, be still and know that I am God. And if you're like me, the first time you heard it, you thought, okay, what? So I'm just supposed to do nothing? Stop? Wait? And if you've been in survival mode for years, maybe decades, that's not peaceful advice. That's terrifying advice because what most people won't tell you is when you've been running on high alert, when your nervous system is used to scanning for the next threat, scanning for the next problem, stillness doesn't feel holy. It feels like danger. And so when you hear be still, the tendency could be to avoid it completely because you don't want to feel trapped, or maybe you try to force yourself into it and it ends up feeling like a punishment instead of the peaceful reprieve that scripture is supposed to be. But what if God never meant be still to command a freeze? What if the scripture be still, it's not about doing nothing at all, but about releasing your grip as a whole? And what if that right there could change the way that you hear his voice and trust his timing? What if that was the way you move through your life moving forward? So stick with me. By the end of this video, I think that you'll hear this scripture in a completely different way. And maybe you will find a stillness that doesn't make your body panic or feel super difficult to embrace. Let me just name this. Stillness is not automatically safe. If your life has trained you to survive, to always be on, always producing, always proving, always anticipating, then still doesn't mean rest. It means danger. Okay, your nervous system works like a security alarm system. It's meant to go off when there's a real danger, when there's a real threat. But if you've lived through a lot of chaos and uncertainty, it gets stuck on high alert. Every small pause, every small sound, every pause, every quiet moment, your body treats it like a break-in. So when you try to slow down, your system doesn't register peace. It registers threat. It registers problem. It registers like we're not safe. We're not okay. It registers threat. So you sit down, you try to be still, and your brain goes, what's going on? Why aren't we moving? Something's wrong. We're about to lose something. We're about to lose everything. This is the part in the movie where it all goes bad. You're not overreacting. That's literally your body's way of trying to keep you alive. The problem is, it's exhausting. It keeps you from resting. It keeps you from being restored ever. It keeps you from hearing God in the way that he intended. Let's go back to Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Most of us read that like a command. Stop, sit down, don't move, know that I'm God. But the context here isn't a command to, go into timeout, but it's also not a spa day either. This is a verse that was spoken to people in the middle of chaos, threat, and war. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, what I'm about to share here that really unlocks the perspective of this entire verse. The Hebrew word be still here doesn't mean literally to be motionless or to stop. It also means at the root to let go, to release, to relax the grip. Now, that's different, isn't it? To me, anyways, that's different. That's not hold your breath and freeze, okay? It's loosen your jaw, Drop your shoulders. Open your hands. That's a physiological shift that invites a nervous system shift, that invites a spiritual shift. God is saying, before you can know me here, before you can trust that I am God in this moment, you have to release your white knuckle grip on controlling it all, controlling how people perceive you, controlling and anticipating the future. Just release the grip on being in control, because you cannot hear someone whisper if you're in a full-on sprint and holding your breath. Okay, and it's the same with God's voice. Now, here's the part that I need you to hear if you're maybe in a season where you recognize you need to be still and know God, but it's difficult. Or maybe you're in a season where you want to embrace slowing down, but it's just really challenging. Okay, this is what I need you to hear. If stillness feels unsafe to you or just impossible, it's not a sign you're bad at faith or lacking faith. It's not a sign that you're not spiritual enough or Christian enough, religious enough. It's a sign that your body has never been taught what safe stillness feels like. And that is learnable. For some of us, be still is not step one. Be still is not step one. Step one is teaching your nervous system that actually slowing down doesn't mean danger. And that's actually obedience too. Because when you regulate your body, you make it possible to experience the type of stillness that God is inviting you to. Let me give you a few ways to start. Okay. Number one is just shifting your breath. You inhale very slowly, and then you exhale longer than it took you to inhale. It's very simple. You do this a few times. This tells your body we're safe right now. There's no threat right now. Okay. Now, the second step is orienting. Look around the room. Name 5 things that you see. This is reminding your brain and in turn your nervous system and your body, we're here. We're not back there. We're not at that other moment that, we might be imagining that feels like the threat. We're not in that moment anymore. Okay. And then the third thing, this is the release prayer that you can say. Instead of, Lord, help me be still, try, Lord, help me release my grip on this. I release my grip on this. And literally open your hands as you say it. Shift the language in your body as you say it. Okay. None of this is self-help replacing God. That's not what I'm about. This is leveraging and working with and using the body that He designed, that He gave you in the way that He designed it, so that you can actually receive the peace that He has promised you. So let's just compare for comparison's sake, okay? The old way of hearing it, stop everything, hope you don't fall apart, and try to fake peace until God comes through, which is how I've seen a lot of people really relate to this scripture, especially in years of coaching, okay? Now, this is the new way of hearing it that I want you to walk away with that has really helped me personally in my walk. Breathe, release, let your body settle enough to be aware of the fact that God is already here and always has been. Now, when I started practicing this, I realized I had been trying to obey scripture from the neck up, okay? All thinking, all willpower, no regulation. And this is how a lot of us try to go through life. We try to go through life from the neck up, ignoring the fact that we've got all of this below the neck to deal with. And what I realized is it's not that God wasn't speaking. It's that my body was too loud for me to hear Him. And I was so attached to being in motion that there wasn't the space to slow down and hear Him. And the first time I experienced stillness as safety, versus it being a threat, it was like the volume knob on on fear, on anxiety, on stress just finally turned down to the point that mind chatter started to stop, that noise started to stop, and the knowing and the peace and the presence of God came through in a way that I didn't have to force. So if you've been avoiding stillness because it felt like drowning, literally, like just impossible, maybe you literally were drowning in your own thoughts, I just want you to know you're not broken. You're not faithless. Your body just needs to learn that stillness can also be safe. And that is holy work. So the next time you hear, be still and know that I am God, remember, this is not about forcing yourself to freeze and to stop and be stuck. It's about letting yourself breathe. It's letting your whole body, your whole self rest in the safety of his presence. That's where the knowing happens. My name is Sid Scott. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment. It helps other people see it who may need to hear it. And see you in the next one. Peace.